My product, Blank Slate, falls under and conforms to the conventions of the psychological thriller and drama category. Psychological thriller and drama films are known to explore dark themes, feature complex characters, psychological manipulation, and moral challenges, which in turn resonate emotionally with the audience. I included the theme of supernatural events as the main character Michael wakes up one morning and discovers he is invisible. The film is about his experience and processing of this. Much like a lot of psychological thrillers and dark dramas, I edited the colours of most of the footage I shot to appear more bluish, greyish and desaturated, giving the sequence a dystopian element. The blues and greys gave a feeling of coldness, detachment and emotional distance, relating to how everyone has emotionally distanced themselves from Michael. I chose to stick to the rules of a psychological thriller with dark themes. In the narrative, I explore themes of isolation and depression as well as ostracising. I represent the internal struggles of the main character, Michael, through his body language and facial expressions. I also used flashbacks, which use a black and white filter and were inspired by the flashbacks in the psychological thriller film Memento. The narrative I have chosen is unconventional and does not conform to Tordorov's narrative, and the story also does not show in a linear, traditional structure. I used camera angles such as POV and over-the-shoulder shots to give the opening sequence a personal aspect and to establish a personal relationship with the character and viewer. I used the rule of thirds often, such as the mid-shots where you see Michael from the back looking at the signs. I made sure to have the bench, the sign, and stand positioned exactly in the middle third of the shot. This was to add intensity to the scene and ensure the viewer's gaze would go only to Michael picking up the sign and to focus on the highlight of the scene, instead of background objects that might be eye-catching or moving. I chose not to use many obscure or attention-drawing props in this short film, as I wanted the focus of the viewer to be on the themes, main message and protagonist. However, the main props I used were two cardboard signs, one reading "Why did you do it?" and the other reading "You're going to pay." I chose to have these simple cardboard signs with capital letter text positioned in the centre of the frame to immediately draw the viewer's attention to the message written on the prop instead of the prop itself. I made sure to have the signs handwritten instead of typed to create a sense of unease and mystery about who wrote them or where they came from. I felt that keeping the props to a minimum was more impactful for the overall representation of the genre. My production logo, Manta Productions, follows the conventions of a psychological thriller production logo. These are things such as the following: an unusual font which cannot be read instantly, fragmentation and distortion, the logo is distorted and has a stretched appearance, and negative space. The logo is translucent, featured on a black background, suggesting unease and dark themes to come. The font I used for the title logo reading Blank Slate is easy to read and simple. I chose to have the logo in plain black without any colour. I did this in order not to use colours to represent connotations and meanings, such as red meaning romance or horror. I intended to leave the genre of the film at this early stage to the viewer's imagination. This is as I didn't want to draw the audience's attention away from the sequence itself. Because of this, I had the logo appear and disappear quickly on one of the pillows in Michael's bed as he's getting up. The titles in this short film follow a conventional order for a psychological thriller or most modern films. The production companies, the director, the actors, in order of appearance, then finally the logo of the film. I decided to have only two locations, Michael's house and his local park. I chose to do this as it shifted the focus more to Michael's character and his interactions with his surroundings. Another reason I chose to do this is that shooting in Michael's house gave the scenes a personal feel and connection to his character. Similarly, shooting in the park, where no one was around, gave an isolated feel and showed his alienation more clearly. I also feel that it gave the film a cohesive atmosphere. I made sure to shoot all the footage outside in the evening, as I thought shooting it during the day when it was sunnier would communicate the wrong moods and conventions. I felt that keeping the locations to a minimum also heightened the emotional impact of the film and would lead viewers to pay more attention to the detail and props of the individual scenes. As for sound, I added Foley to each scene representing the setting, objects and characters. I also composed a musical score featuring mainly digital synthesizers and other software instruments such as X-First Serum, Logic Sampler and Native Instruments Massive. This score is in the genre of most psychological thriller films, featuring suspenseful music with long drone notes, automated volumes at significant moments, tense minor chords and high string sounds. My references for the soundtrack are The Widow's Film by Hans Zimmer and The Dark Knight by Hans Zimmer and James Newton Howard. My film represents social groups, particularly those ostracised for not conforming to societal norms or expectations. As the main character introduced, Michael is a societal reject and feels invisible to his family members and friends because of a reason that isn't revealed. Whatever he has done, he is unaware and alarmed by the situation. He asks himself questions such as, "What did I do?" His character's experience of feeling invisible is exaggerated due to his emotional response. The sequence is more about his processing of this experience than what is actually going on in real life.